Gentlemen, I'm Dr. Shalene Jomas, and for over 20 years as a urologist and intimacy specialist, I've sat across from thousands of men over 60 who've shared the same painful secret with me. They tell me, with tears in their eyes sometimes, that the passion they once had with their wives, that deep, satisfying connection that made them feel like men, has quietly slipped away, and they feel ashamed. They feel like they've let her down, like their best years are behind them. But here's what I tell every single one of them, and what I'm telling you right now, it doesn't have to be this way. Over 60? That doesn't mean over, not even close. In fact, I've helped men in their 70s and 80s bring back the kind of passion, control, and lasting intimacy they thought was gone forever, without pills, without expensive supplements, and without awkward devices. Just a simple mind-body technique that works with your natural biology, not against it. Today I'm going to share with you the exact method that's transformed marriages and reignited passion for my patients. And I'm doing this discreetly, respectfully, because I know this is personal. This is about you and the woman you love. So if you're ready to surprise her tonight, to bring back that fire naturally, stay with me. What I'm about to show you could change everything. The real problem and why you're not broken. Let me start by saying this clearly. What you're experiencing is completely natural. As a urologist who's examined the physiology of thousands of men over 60, I can tell you that your body is simply responding to decades of natural changes in blood flow, nerve sensitivity, pelvic muscle tone, and hormone balance. You see, after 60, most men experience what I call the triple decline. First, blood circulation to the pelvic region decreases by up to 30% compared to your 30s. Second, the pelvic floor muscles, the very muscles responsible for firmness, control, and intensity, begin to weaken from decades of sitting, stress, and simply not being trained. And third, your nervous system's sensitivity changes, meaning the mind-body connection that once happened automatically now needs intentional support. The result? You might find yourself lacking the stamina you once had. Maybe you can't last as long as you'd like, leaving both you and your wife unsatisfied. Or perhaps the intensity just isn't there anymore. It feels muted, distant, like watching a fire through frosted glass instead of feeling its heat. Some of my patients describe feeling disconnected during intimacy, like their minds are racing while their bodies struggle to keep up. And gentlemen, I see the toll this takes. It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's relational. One patient, Robert, came to me at 65 and said, "Doc, my wife never complains, but I see it in her eyes. She misses me. She misses us." Another man, Thomas, told me he'd started avoiding intimacy altogether because he couldn't bear the disappointment he thought he saw on his wife's face. The shame was eating him alive. But here's what's crucial to understand. This isn't about being broken. This isn't about age making you obsolete. Your body still has incredible potential for passion, pleasure, and deep marital connection. You just need to reawaken the systems that control these responses, the pelvic muscles, the nervous pathways, and most importantly, the mind-body synchronization that creates lasting, satisfying intimacy. Because the truth is, passion at 60, 70, or even 80 isn't about raw power or youthful energy. It's about control, presence, and connection. And I'm going to show you how to master all three tonight. Why pills and quick fixes leave you disappointed now? I know what many of you have tried. The little blue pill. The online supplements promising instant results. The testosterone boosters. And maybe they worked for a night, maybe two. But then what? Let me be very clear. I'm not here to bash medications. Drugs like Viagra and Cialis have their place in medicine, and they've helped millions of men. But as someone who prescribes these medications regularly, I also see their profound limitations, especially for men over 60 who want more than just a temporary physical response. First, these pills don't address the real underlying issues. They force blood flow temporarily, but they don't strengthen the pelvic muscles that control stamina and intensity. They don't retrain your nervous system. They don't rebuild the mind-body connection that creates genuine, passionate intimacy. You become dependent on them, sometimes needing higher doses over time, and your natural systems continue to weaken. Second, the side effects. Headaches, flushed skin, upset stomach, visual disturbances. These aren't minor inconveniences. One of my patients, David, told me he'd spend half the night feeling dizzy and disconnected because of the medication, which completely ruined the intimacy he was trying to create with his wife. It felt mechanical, he said, like I was performing, not connecting. And third, and this is critical, pills do nothing for ejaculatory control or lasting power. They might help you achieve firmness, but they don't help you last longer. They don't increase your ability to control the moment of release. They don't enhance the deep, full-body experience that both you and your wife crave. You're still facing the same stamina challenges, just with chemically induced firmness. The same goes for supplements. The market is flooded with so-called natural male enhancement products containing random herbs and amino acids, ginseng, L-arginine, horny goatweed. And while some of these have minor effects on blood flow, none of them address the neuromuscular control and mind-body mastery that truly transforms your bedroom experience. Here's what I tell my patients. Would you rather rely on a pill every time you want intimacy with your wife, always wondering if tonight will be the night it doesn't work? Or would you rather rebuild your body's natural systems so that passion, control, and lasting satisfaction become yours again, permanently, naturally, without any outside chemicals? The answer is obvious, and that's exactly what I'm giving you today. The big reveal, the breath lock release method. All right, gentlemen, here's what I want you to understand. What I'm about to share with you is something I've taught to hundreds of my patients. And it works. It's called the breath lock release method, and it combines 3 ancient mind-body principles with modern pelvic floor science. This technique does 3 things simultaneously. First, it strengthens your pelvic floor muscles, specifically the pubococcygeus muscle, or PC muscle, which controls ejaculatory timing, firmness quality, and orgasm intensity. Second, it retrains your autonomic nervous system to shift from the stress-driven sympathetic state into the pleasure-driven parasympathetic state, which is essential for sustained arousal and connection. And third, it synchronizes your breath, muscle control, and mental focus to create what I call command presence, the ability to direct your body exactly where you want it to go during intimacy. Show discrete anatomical diagram. PC muscle location between tailbone and pubic bone. Think of it this way. Your body is like a high-performance car that's been sitting in the garage for years. The engine still works, but the timing is off. The responsiveness is sluggish, and you've forgotten how to drive it with confidence. The breath lock release method is like giving yourself a complete tune-up and driver's retraining in one simple daily practice. Here's the overview. You'll use controlled breathing to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, deliberately contract and hold your PC muscle to build strength and control, and then practice timed release to master the exact moment of climax. This isn't mystical, it's pure physiology, and you can start tonight. I had a patient named George who came to me at 72, frustrated and ready to give up on his marriage's intimate life entirely. Within 2 weeks of practicing this method 10 minutes a day, he reported lasting 3 times longer than before. Within a month, his wife told him she felt like she was with a completely different man, more present, more confident, more connected. That's the power of working with your body's natural systems instead of against them. So let me break down the science, and then I'll give you the exact step-by-step instructions. The science. Why this works. When everything else failed. Gentlemen, I want you to really understand why this works, because when you understand the mechanism, you'll practice with confidence and commitment. Let's start with your nervous system. Your body operates on 2 primary modes: sympathetic, the fight or flight, stress response, and parasympathetic, the rest, digest, and reproduce relaxation response. Now here's the problem. Most men over 60 are living in chronic sympathetic dominance. You're stressed about work, health, finances, responsibilities. Your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. And guess what kills passion and stamina faster than anything else? Stress. When you're in sympathetic mode, your body diverts blood away from the pelvic region and toward your limbs and brain. It suppresses sexual hormones. It triggers rapid ejaculation because, from an evolutionary perspective, stress means danger, and in danger, reproduction needs to happen fast. The breath lock release method uses controlled deep breathing, specifically diaphragmatic breathing, to activate your parasympathetic nervous system on command. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you literally signal your brain that it's safe to relax, to feel pleasure, to stay present. Blood flows back to your pelvic region, your heart rate stabilizes, arousal becomes sustainable instead of rushed. Now let's talk about the PC muscle, the pubococcygeus muscle. This is the hidden powerhouse of male sexual performance. It's the muscle you use to stop urination midstream. It wraps around the base of your pelvis and controls both erectile firmness and ejaculatory timing. Here's the analogy I use with my patients. Imagine you're trying to dam a river with a weak, crumbling wall. Water's going to spill over whenever pressure builds, right? That's what happens when your PC muscle is weak. You have no control over ejaculation timing. But when you deliberately train and strengthen this muscle, you're building a solid, reliable dam that you can open and close at will. You gain command. Research shows that pelvic floor strengthening increases ejaculatory control by up to 400% in men who practice consistently. It also enhances orgasm intensity because a stronger PC muscle contracts more powerfully during climax, creating deeper, fuller sensations. But here's where it gets even better. When you combine PC muscle contractions with breath control, you're also manipulating your neurochemistry. Deep breathing increases nitric oxide production, which dilates blood vessels and improves circulation to the pelvic region. Strong PC contractions trigger dopamine release, the neurotransmitter of motivation and pleasure, and sustained connected intimacy releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that deepens emotional connection with your wife. Think about that for a moment. You're not just improving physical performance, you're literally engineering a neurochemical experience that makes intimacy more pleasurable for you and more emotionally satisfying for both of you. I had a patient named Henry who described it perfectly. He said, "Doc, I used to feel like my body was betraying me, like I was along for the ride with no steering wheel. Now I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. I decide when we finish, I decide how long we connect. And my wife? She's happier than she's been in years." That's the power of understanding and applying this mind-body science. You're not fighting your biology, you're mastering it. Step by step, how to perform the breath lock release method. Shift to instructional tone, clear and precise, demonstrating with gestures. All right, gentlemen, now I'm going to give you the exact technique. I want you to practice this daily. It takes just 10 minutes. And then apply it during intimacy. Here's how. Step 1. Find your PC muscle. Sit or lie comfortably in private. The easiest way to locate your PC muscle is to imagine you're stopping urination midstream. That squeezing, lifting sensation you feel between your tailbone and pubic bone, that's your PC muscle. Don't clench your buttocks or abs. Isolate just that internal lift. Step 2. The breath foundation. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, letting your belly expand fully. This is diaphragmatic breathing, not shallow chest breathing. Hold for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This is your calming, parasympathetic breath. Do this for 5 cycles to establish your foundation. Step 3. The lock. On your next inhale, squeeze your PC muscle as you breathe in. Lift it firmly but not painfully. Hold both your breath and your PC contraction for 5 seconds. You're training your muscle to maintain tension while staying calm. Then release both your breath and your PC muscle slowly as you exhale. This is 1 rep. Do 10 reps. Rest for 30 seconds. Repeat for 3 sets total. That's your daily practice. 3 sets of 10 reps, always synchronized with your breath. Step 4. The progressive hold. Once you're comfortable with the basic technique, usually after 1 week, add progressive holds. On your 5th rep, hold your PC contraction for 10 seconds instead of 5. On your 10th rep, hold for 15 seconds. This builds endurance and stamina. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't hold your breath in a stressed way. Keep your face and jaw relaxed. Don't squeeze your abs or glutes. Isolate the PC muscle only. Don't rush. Slow, controlled movements build real strength. And don't skip days. Consistency is everything. Applying it. During intimacy. Here's where the magic happens. During intimacy with your wife, when you feel yourself approaching the point of no return, that moment when climax becomes inevitable, immediately switch to slow, deep breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. At the same time, contract your PC muscle firmly and hold. This literally interrupts the ejaculatory reflex and allows you to pause, calm your nervous system, and continue. With practice, you'll be able to do this multiple times during a single intimate encounter, extending your time together from minutes to 30, 40, even 60 minutes or more. And because you're staying present and controlled, your wife will feel your confidence and connection, which dramatically increases her pleasure and satisfaction. Patient testimonial graphic. I lasted 45 minutes our first try. She couldn't believe it. Frank S., 74. That's it. 10 minutes a day. Apply it with your wife. Watch your marriage transform. Results and timeline. What to expect, gentlemen. I want to set realistic but exciting expectations for you. This isn't an overnight miracle, but the results build faster than you might think. On-screen text, your transformation timeline. Night 1. After just your first practice session, many of my patients report feeling more awareness and control in their pelvic region. You'll notice the muscle engagement. You might last slightly longer just from the increased mindfulness. Your wife will sense your confidence. Week 1. By the end of the first week, you'll have completed 7 practice sessions. Your PC muscle is already strengthening. Most men report lasting 50 to 100% longer during intimacy, literally doubling their stamina. You'll also notice firmer, more reliable responses because of improved blood flow from the breathing exercises. Week 2 to 3. This is when the transformation accelerates. Your ejaculatory control becomes deliberate. You can actually pause and reset during intimacy. Orgasms become more intense because your PC muscle contracts more powerfully. And here's what my patients tell me. Their wives start initiating more. The passion returns to the marriage because she feels your presence, your strength, your dedication to her pleasure. Month 1 and beyond. After 30 days of consistent practice, this becomes your new normal. You've rebuilt the mind-body connection. You've retrained your nervous system. You can last as long as you and your wife desire, 20, 30, 60 minutes of connected, passionate intimacy. And it's effortless because your body has relearned its natural capacity. I had a patient named Walter, 77 years old, who came back after 2 months and said, "Doc, my wife and I are having the best intimacy of our entire marriage. She's laughing again. She's playful. We're connecting in ways I forgot were possible." That's what awaits you. Not just better performance, renewed passion, deeper connection, and a marriage where intimacy is a joy again, not a source of anxiety or disappointment. Bonus tips and critical warnings. Shift to advisory tone, serious but supportive. Before I wrap up, I want to give you 3 additional tips that will amplify your results and 2 warnings to keep you safe. Bonus tip 1. The intimacy conversation. Have a gentle, respectful conversation with your wife about what you're doing. You don't need to go into graphic detail, but tell her you're focusing on improving your health and your connection with her. Ask her what would make intimacy more enjoyable for her. This emotional openness creates psychological safety, which dramatically enhances both of your experiences. Bonus tip 2, the natural libido stack. Support your practice with these 3 natural habits. First, eat zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and lean beef. Zinc is critical for testosterone production. Second, take a 15-minute walk in sunlight daily. Vitamin D and movement improve circulation and hormone balance. Third, reduce alcohol. It suppresses the parasympathetic nervous system and weakens your control. Bonus tip 3, the edging practice. During private moments alone, practice bringing yourself close to climax and then using the breath lock technique to stop, reset, continue. This trains your control in a low-pressure environment, so it's automatic during intimacy with your wife. Warning 1. Medical conditions. If you have heart disease, uncontrolled high blood pressure, recent pelvic surgery, or any serious medical condition, talk to your physician before starting pelvic floor exercises. While this technique is generally safe, your doctor needs to approve it for your specific situation. Warning 2. Pelvic pain. If you experience any pain during PC muscle contractions, stop immediately and consult a urologist or pelvic floor physical therapist. Pain means you're either squeezing too hard or there's an underlying issue that needs professional evaluation. This is about health, passion, and marital joy, so practice safely and intelligently. Conclusion. Your invitation to passion. Gentlemen, we've covered a lot today. Let me bring it all together for you. You are not broken. You are not too old. The passion, control, and deep marital intimacy you thought were gone forever, they're still inside you, waiting to be reawakened. The breath lock release method, 10 minutes a day of synchronized breathing, PC muscle training, and mind-body mastery, is your path back to confidence, stamina, and the kind of connection that makes your wife feel cherished and desired. I've seen this transform marriages. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s bring back the fire, surprise their wives, and rebuild intimacy that's even better than their younger years, because now it comes with patience, presence, and genuine care. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Practice the technique. Just 10 minutes before bed. Find your PC muscle. Do the breath-synchronized contractions. Feel the control returning to your body. And then, when the moment is right with your wife, apply it. Stay present, stay connected. Show her the man you're becoming again. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment below saying, I'm trying this for her. Let's build a community of men over 60 who are committed to healthy, passionate marriages and natural vitality. And remember, this is just the beginning. On this channel, I share discreet, respectful guidance on all aspects of men's health and intimacy after 60. You don't have to navigate this alone. Gentlemen, you've got this. Go surprise her tonight.